Hari Om. In this video, we are going to discuss what is reflection in C# and .NET programming. When you take reflection, the reflection objects are used for obtaining type information at runtime. To be more precise, you can say the classes that give access to the metadata of a running program are in the system.reflection namespace. So what it means actually is, during the runtime, if I want to know the metadata or an information about a program, about the classes or about the objects that are used in a particular program, I can use reflection object. So these objects are used for obtaining the type information. When I say type information, it is all about the metadata of a particular program. So inside a program, you may be having different objects, you may be having different classes, you may be having different methods. So if I want to know the information about these components of a program, I can make use of the reflection. Let us see an example, then we will get into other details of reflection. I am opening the terminal, and in the terminal I have a program. Let us see the program first. I have a simple program. So observe the program. In the program I have a namespace declared, and inside the namespace I have a class called as employee, and the employee class is having a data member name which is of string data type. And for the name, you can observe here I am declaring a property also. I am declaring a property with name, and with getter and setter method is also defined here. Then after defining a property, I am defining the constructors for my class. You can observe here I am having a default constructor overloaded here. This is a default constructor overloaded. And this is a parameterized constructor, and inside the parameterized constructor I have a parameter which is of string data type, and this value can be assigned to the name of the employee. Then I have another method called display. So this is how I have defined a class. You have a class called as employee. The employee class is having one data member which is of string data type, and it is having one property that includes getter and setter method, and it has two constructors. One is an overloaded default constructor. The second one is a parameterized constructor with only one parameter which is of string data type. And I have declared simply a display method which is having no statements, just to understand that it is having a method. So this is the class information. Now during the execution, if I want to understand the information about this particular class, say for example I want to know how many constructors are there for this particular class, or I want to know what is the property available in this particular class, I want to know what are the different methods available in this particular class, or I want to know what are the parameters of a particular method in this particular class. So these are the things can be accessed using the reflection object. So that is the purpose of having the reflection object. I want to know what are the metadata of a particular class. Here I just want to understand the different constructors, or the different data members, or the different properties, or the different methods, or even the parameters that are available in a particular method. If you want to get this kind of information, you can make use of the reflection object. So obviously if you want to create, if you want to make use of a class in your program, what do you do generally? You have to include the appropriate namespace. So here, since the reflection object is used in my program, I am going to have the reflection namespace included in my program. So use your using directive, then include system.reflection namespace, so that all the classes that are available in the reflection namespace will be included in your program. Now if you observe the program here, I have a main class here. Inside the main class, I have one method, a static method. I have a static method, and the static method, I am going to pass one data type. I am going to pass one data type, and I access the metadata of the type that I am going to pass, right? So what I am going to do, whatever type is passed here, I am just displaying the type here. Then I am just displaying what is the namespace of that particular type. You can use namespace property. Observe here, type is the object that is passed, and for the object I have a property called as namespace, which will give you the namespace of that particular class. Then I am having constructor info. Observe, constructor info is a class that is available inside the reflection namespace. And using the constructor info, I am going to access the metadata of the constructors available in the class. So this is the statement that gives you the constructor information of a particular class. Then I am having a for each loop, so that it is going to display all the constructor information that is accessed using the get constructor method. The for each loop will be displaying the constructor information which is accessed using the get constructor method. Then I have another class used here as property info. So observe here, constructor info is a class that is available in the reflection namespace. In the same way, property info is another class available in the reflection namespace that contains the information or the metadata about the properties of a class. So here the property is, name is the property of the employee class. So if I want to access that information, I am using the property info. Again, get properties method will give you the information about the property. Then what you do, as usual, use your for each loop just to display the property information which was accessed using the get properties method. Then you have another class available in the reflection namespace which is method info, that gives you the metadata about the methods of a class. So again, I use the get methods method to access the information about the methods that are used by this particular object. This is the object we are passing, right? So here I will be, if I am going to pass the employee class, that becomes the object, or if I am going to pass any other class name, that becomes the object for accessing all this information. Then another class that is available inside the reflection namespace is parameter info. So what the parameter info will do? The parameter info will access the parameters that are available inside a method. So what I am doing here, I am initializing the parameter info object. I am initializing the parameter info object with null value. Then for each method, I am going to get the parameters. For each method, all the methods are available in the method info. So for each method, which is represented as m, I am going to get the parameters and I store it in parameter info, which will be displayed using a for each statement, right? So this is what we are doing in the display details method. So display details method is a simple method, user defined method, which will receive a type, a data type as an argument, and whatever type you are going to pass for that particular type, what is the constructor information, what is the property information, what is the method information, and what are the different parameters of that particular method will be accessed using various methods, right? Now what I am going to do in the main method, I am going to simply invoke the display details method and I am going to pass the type of employee class. I am passing the type of employee class, because what is the argument for the display details method? The argument for display details method is one data type. So that data type I am accessing using the type of method. Type of is not a method, it is an operator. So using the type of operator, I pass the employee class, which will be passing the type of the employee class as an argument here. So obviously all these methods will be accessing the metadata of which class? The employee class, right? So let me run this program so that you will get an idea what will be the output of this particular program. I am going to compile this program. I compiled it and I am going to execute this program. When I execute, you can see the class type is defined as employee. So it is displaying the class name as employee, which is available inside the reflection test namespace. You might have observed, I will show you the program again. The class we have defined inside the namespace called reflection test. So inside this namespace, you have the employee class. So it is showing you the class name as the namespace dot the class name, right? And in which namespace we have defined employee? It is defined inside the namespace called reflection test. How many constructors we had for the employee class? Two constructors. One is a default parameterless constructor, which is an overloaded one, and the second constructor is a parameterized constructor with one argument which is of string data type. So these are the two constructors available in my employee class. Then how many properties are there in the employee class? I have only one property, which is the name property, and the property is also of string data type. Then what are the methods you have for this particular property? You have the getName method as well as the setName method. Getter and setter both are defined for the name property. So these are the two methods for this particular property. Then what is the property type you have? The property type is the parameter type is the string data type, and the parameter name is value, because whenever you are going to pass a string data type, that will be represented as a value in the getter and setter property. Please recollect the concepts of properties and indexes that we discussed. So whenever you pass a value in the setter method, that will be represented with the keyword value. Then you have another method name display, and the method name will be display details, and the method name is equals. Okay, we don't have equals here, and the parameter type is the object that you are going to pass, because all the parameters of the you have one method called as display method in the employee class. In the employee class we have one method called as display, and we have another method called as equals. So both of them are having the parameter type as the object, because it is used by the class. So the object, the current object will be the parameter for that particular method, display method. Then you have, these are the different default methods that are available inside the display method as well as the equals method. So these are the default methods. Remember, display is the only method which is defined by the user. Apart from that, we have equals, get hash code, get type and toString. These are the default methods that will be associated with all the classes that you are going to define in your program, right? So don't get confused, like equals, get hash code, get type, toString is not defined in our program. They are not user defined method. They are the methods which are defined by the program by default. These are the methods automatically available, right? So whatever class you are going to define in your program, all these classes will have these methods by default. Since it is going to be a string argument, you can have equals, and if you want to test whether one object is equal to another object, you can use the equals method. Get hash code, get type and toString are the methods which are defined by the framework class library, the base class library, or automatically for all the user defined classes in your program. So the only method that we have defined is the display method, right? So this is how the reflection will help you. The reflection will help you in understanding the metadata of a class or an object or a component or a method, whatever you call. All the metadata can be retrieved during the runtime. That is the advantage here. So when I am executing the program, you can observe here, when I am executing the program, I am accessing the information about the constructor, I am accessing the information about the parameters, I am accessing the information about the methods. That is the advantage of using the reflection in a C# programming language, right? So let me stop here. We will continue with the reflection in the next video.